the Syracuse Landmark Preservation Board meeting of April 24th. Present at the meeting are
Nicole Fragnito.
Kyle Gregory.
Julia Marshall,
Jeff Romano.
Hillary Donahue.
Howard Trish.
Kate Aueter.
thank you. May I have a motion to accept the minutes of April 3rd?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any modifications to the minutes? All in favor? Minutes as submitted?
Aye.
Passes. No opposition, no abstentions. We're good.
Just one abstention. I wasn't here. So.
Okay, one
But that's
abstention.
okay.
Got it.
That's
Yep.
okay.
Thanks.
Okay. We have a public hearing, so the board will now conduct the public hearing on today's agenda. First, the applicant or the applicant's representative will be invited to describe the proposed scope of the work and to present any material or documentation regarding the proposed to the board. Next, persons wishing to speak in favor of the proposal will be given the opportunity to address the board. Then persons wishing to speak in opposition will be allowed to address the board. Finally, the applicant or representative will be given the opportunity to make closing comments to the board. Following public comment, the board may vote to approve with conditions, or deny the application just heard. The board may also decide to hold its decision until the next public hearing. If the hearing is closed, no additional information will be allowed into the record except for information that the board may request. That information will be available for public review with board staff. Staff, Kate, will now introduce the first application.
Good morning. Our first application, actually the first and only public hearing this morning, is a certificate of appropriateness for 527 Oak Street. This is a rehabilitation and restoration of the property, which is located in the Sedgwick Highland James Preservation District. So, Zach or Olive? Yep.
Could you introduce yourselves and provide an address?
Good morning. My name is Olive Sepuma, and I am Vice President, COO at Interfaith Works.
My name is Zach Bloomer. I work for Echo Architects.
So before we get into the description of the plan, I just wanted to provide a little bit of background on our agency, as well as on the significance of this project to us as an agency. Interfaith Works was established in 1976. We are about to celebrate our 50th year. We are located at 1010 James Street, and we have, our mission is to affirm the dignity of all individuals across all faiths. We have three main programs. One is the Center for Dialogue and Action, which is a dialogue-based model to do bridge building across all sectors, across the community. The second program is the Center for Healthy Aging, which works with older adults to address issues of loneliness and isolation. And then the third program is the Refugee Resettlement Program, which we've been doing this work for over 40 years at this point, resettling refugees from all over the world. And this is the program under which this project is housed. It has been a dream, 10 years in the making. We've had a need for temporary housing for families to make sure that they're housed in a dignified and welcoming home while we look for and find and prepare appropriate housing for them in the community. That's been a challenge, and so we're very excited to be at this stage of the project. We were also very excited to find this home right around the corner from our office, and we have three main goals that we are approaching this work with. The first is that we want to be able to provide handicap accessible housing, which is some of the hardest housing to find in the community, ground level accessible homes. And so the 2 units in the downstairs will be for families, handicap accessible, and families can stay on a basis of 4 to 6 weeks, maybe even 8 weeks. And then the second goal is to contribute affordable housing units because we also have a challenge finding affordable housing, especially for single individuals who have less of a stipend to work with when they first arrive. And so we will have 4 units on the second floor that will help with that. Tenants in the on the second floor will be able to stay for 12 to 18 months just to give them a longer ramp. They also tend to find jobs the quickest as well. And then lastly, we're very committed, being a neighborhood resident ourselves on James Street, to the neighborhood. Most of our clients are resettled on the north side, and so this is our neighborhood, and we want to contribute to neighborhood revitalization. And we're excited to be able to bring back a property such as this back into its former life, and we're committed to doing it in environmentally responsible and sustainable ways, as well as maintaining the historic integrity of the building that remains. That is part of what attracted us to it as well. And so when we stand back and it's done, we want to be proud of the work that we did, but also for the community to be able to take pride in this project as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
I think what I'd like to do is just walk you through a little bit of this document that we put together that kind of describes our approach to the exterior work that we're doing to maintain and preserve this building. So if you go to the next page. So it is, the main goal of this project, architecturally speaking, is rehabilitation and preservation. There are a few situations where there are some alterations to the structure that we feel are necessary due to lack of structural feasibility, the non-useful nature of the pieces that are being altered, and to provide a new accessible main back entrance. So this first slide shows the one area where we are proposing to do demolition work on the structure. This is a non-original stairwell addition that was put on probably in 1960s, but it is out of compliance, it is falling down, it is not original to the main structure. So we've decided that for the integrity of the building that we just remove the whole addition. So if you look at photo 2, that is basically the facing James Street side, which is along kind of the side yard, which is tucked behind the building where you cannot see from the street regardless. And photo 1 is from the rear of the building. It is the structure that's on the left side of that photo, kind of tucked behind the porches. Okay. So the other removals that we are trying to accomplish with this project is just 2 minor chimneys. These chimneys are non-functioning. So the reason why we'd like to take these down is, first of all, to protect the structure and provide a better thermal envelope on the roof of the building, and to free up space inside the building to reconfigure apartments. The main chimney that you can see from the street will be stabilized and not removed. The 2 that will be removed cannot be seen from Oak Street and are the ones that we are proposing to remove. So one modification to the building that we are trying to make is the rear entry, and we're doing this to provide better access and ADA accessibility to the building. We are altering one entrance, which is currently a window, which we'll be converting to a door and putting on an outdoor deck and exterior ramp. And then sliding over the roof of the porch in photo 5 just to meet the building to provide a protected entrance. We will be providing gutters to this building to help with drainage and all of the excess water that is currently getting into the basement. The way that we are trying to do this is by implementing, it's like a replication of a Yankee gutter kind of in appearance with modern materials. So it will have this colonial profile to the gutter. So we will be reconfiguring the eave condition to accommodate this. So all main details and architectural elements are going to be rehabilitated and preserved. And once this gigantic job is accomplished, we plan on painting in hopefully what you see is the image on the right is kind of a precedence picture that we're taking kind of inspiration from. So we're really trying to have it be subtle and historic and really highlight all the grand features of this house. One part of this project is replacement of all windows on the house. Well, not replacement of all, but a mix of replacing some and restoring the rest of all the windows in the house. Currently, most windows are in very terrible shape, non-functioning, broken glazing. So what we're proposing is to do a mixture of restoring all historically significant windows in the property on the building to their original kind of value, and then replacing some of the windows that are not historic in nature, which they have been replaced in the past before, and ones that do not really have much historical character in the defining characteristics of the window. So it is a mix of restoration and replacement. So here's examples of all the rows of pictures on the top are ones that will be restored. Windows with divided lights, fixed windows, transom windows with divided lights, leaded glass windows. And the window types on the bottom are ones that we are proposing to be replaced. And these are 1/1 standard double hung windows. And this is just an image of the minor new construction work that we're proposing on the exterior of the building, which is extending the cover over a new entrance and a new accessible ramp. And I'm not sure if we need to go through all of the architectural drawings until we have questions. I don't know if they're worth going through.
Actually,
Are there,
I was just going to say, do you want to talk to us briefly about the site? What your
Sure.
proposals for the, yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, the majority of the work is to the west of the property, which is the backyard. not facing James Street. So all new construction will be on the back, which is the rear deck and accessibility ramp, with new asphalt paving along the south of the building, in a few planting areas and some bike racks. All of this which will not be seen from the street. The work that we have in the front of the building, which will be along the street view, is just two new planting beds along the front of the porch, with just a small amount of planting.
Thank you. Are there any in the audience who would like to speak in favor of the project? Please come forward and give us your name and address and...
I'm Doug Riker. I live at 308 Highland Avenue, just around the corner, and I'm also on the building committee for Interfaith Works. I've lived in the neighborhood for over 15 years, and this house I don't think has received any attention in at least that time. It's really been in very poor condition. And we're very excited about what they're going to do with it. First off, it's going to look great, and it'll be well run. And knowing the organization as I have for many, many years, it'll be nice to have someone who's responsible, even if they're not physically on site. There'll be a phone call and a few steps away. And I think that what they're proposing to do will be a wonderful thing for this community as well as the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak in favor?
Good morning. I'm Beth Broadway, and I'm the president and CEO of Interfaith Works, and I'd like to speak in favor of the project. Mostly I want to say that, pick up on something that Vice President Sapuma talked about, which is the dream come true part of this. We began working on this home 8.5 years ago. And we put it on hold. We had purchased a different home from the land bank on the north side, and we had put the project on hold because at that time, President Trump had been elected for the first time and had closed down the refugee program temporarily. So we thought, well, if there are no new refugees coming, does the purpose of the project still hold? And so we did put the project on hold, and Land Bank sold the property to somebody else. From that day, we've regretted it every single day that we did not go forward with this, in large measure because Interfaith Works has great belief in the refugee resettlement program. This building will serve that population. And over the last 2 years alone, the agency has settled almost 2,000 refugees, just us alone. And so the needs for people to have a home like this, even at the time when new arrivals are not coming, is critical. People change in their situations. They need handicapped accessible buildings. Maybe they didn't need it when they arrived, but they need it now. We also know that affordable housing for people is a dire need in our community, and this property will be reduced from having 10 units in it to having 6 units in it, but 6 very nice, very quality, accessible and affordable housing units. And I want you to know that we feel very strongly that we're getting this house in the nick of time for the house. The house is in very deteriorated state, and people have told us this who know better than I do about buildings, that we're getting it in the nick of time. And we are a solid organization. Right now, we will have, as of the end of this week, 2 additional staff are coming back to the organization after we did initial layoffs. And I know a board like yours may sometimes be concerned when you've heard that we have had to enact layoffs. We had a lot of additional staff added during this period of time over the last few years because of the Afghan crisis and the Ukrainian crisis. Those crises have diminished in terms of the numbers of people who are arriving. Interfaith Works will continue to work with the 2,000 people and more who have come to our community from other places within the United States. And we expect that the refugee resettlement program will be reopening, and that it is an important humanitarian program and diplomatic and economic program for our community, and that we will, in fact, have many people coming over many, many, many years to use this building, and it will create a stress relief for us and for our staff who have a very difficult time finding these particular kinds of housing that we're going to do to make this building proper. We are a long-time organization in Syracuse. We have financial stability. We will take very good care of this property, and the people that will live in it over their lives will start their lives and get into a self-sufficiency zone very quickly. And we're very excited about it, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any who wish to speak in opposition to the project? Please come forward. If not, any clarifications from board, unless I will close the public meeting? I just want one clarification. You mentioned 10 units, and in our packet it was saying... For the record, our
Says nine.
documentation says 9.
Okay. That may have been
I think
my
there's an
error.
illegal unit in the basement that.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I will close the public meeting. Comments? Sorry. Any comments? Clarifications from the board? If,
I have a few. So you guys presented before, and these are all new changes to the plans from the previous project. So when you were previously here, just a couple questions about paint scheme. Previously, that corner that was being removed, you're going to scrape for evidence to see what you could find in that corner where the stairwell is being removed. Has that been done, and did that?
It has not been done. The addition is still there, so.
But you didn't do any paint investigation?
No, I don't think the intent was to try to recreate exactly what it was in the past. I think what we tried to do is pick a way forward in a historical manner that we like to pursue.
Siding still remains as is? Nothing changes in that part of the component of the project? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
You mentioned the canopy over the back door, which it's not shown on the drawing, and so I was going to call that out. So that's a good cover for that rear door facing the west to protect it. And the gutter detail, is that an aluminum gutter, a wooden gutter?
It's aluminum.
It's aluminum, and that fascia, the vertical component, is that going to be metal as well, or is that wood?
The fascia behind would be wood. So in the actual plans, the architectural set of drawings that are attached to this package,
Yeah,
there is a detail.
It's on 11 by 17. It's kind of tough to read. So I'm not. So I see integral flashing underneath the drip edge. I was just curious.
No, it's a wood fascia underneath with a aluminum gutter attached,
Okay.
which appears, just the appearance of the gutter looks like crown molding. That's the significance of this type of detail.
Yeah, I'm sorry about
Okay.
that, guys, yeah.
Well, I'm just looking at that. It's wood. I think you might want to just add some flashing on that, just as a long-term maintenance issue.
Oh, it will be flash, sure, there'll be drip edge, there'll be,
Yeah, I see you have integral flashing labeled, but
Okay.
that difference of 3 inches or whatever from the actual drip edge into the top of the gutter.
Are you
Okay.
talking about here?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
right there. Just as a long-term maintenance, you might just want to extend your flashing or
Okay.
aluminum there. just as durability. And for the window component, we're retaining all historic windows. Speak to me about the dormer windows. I feel those are very important, and they're currently sliding vinyl replacements. And then the top half, is that still a window unit, or was it a window unit? Or can you speak to
We
that?
found evidence of, I believe it was an operable window. It was, so the shape is the same. You
Can
know,
we go
it's-
to that picture, Amber? Probably towards the beginning, or, oh, okay, right there, oh, yeah. 15, thank you.
So obviously, that's not a historic window right there. What we propose is, we found an image of the building back in, I think, 1960, where it had, I believe, what was the original windows, and it's more of a divided light application to the window. We cannot tell from the picture if they were operable or non-operable. What we...
I guess my question is the arched opening is that the historic window opening?
Yes, so
Right?
it's...
So it's been panned.
Yes.
Just one of them has, right?
Yeah, they're only changing out
It was
one.
only the one that was panned. For somewhere I saw an image, it looked like the other two were conventional glazing.
Go back to the front of the elevation,
The main,
the main elevation. Do you have a photo?
First page, actually, is the... Oh, there you go.
Right.
yeah.
Can you zoom in?
Right, so this configuration of a slider window under a fixed kind of transom is going to be changed out with a new unit. I believe it's still going to be a transom with a window underneath it, an operable window. This would be an awning window, and they would have divided lights, more in kind of the style of the original.
I just wanted to understand how they're treating the historic opening. So you'll have awning windows, a pair of them as shown here,
No, just a single.
just a single fitting the whole width of the dormer. And then the arched opening remains as is glazed.
But it would also carry the divided light
Okay,
theme
thank
to
you.
it.
Okay, okay.
So it looks like one cohesive divided light.
Is that what it showed in this 1960?
Yes.
photo? Yeah.
Okay.
That would
But
be
we
in
just
keeping.
weren't clear if it was operable or just fixed.
Understood, but that's just vacant space in your proposal, so I'm just looking at it as pure aesthetic appearance from the street,
Yeah.
so.
On sheet A7, actually, it's very small.
Right, it should be in the
Yeah, the
window
last-
schedule.
But
one,
the last one, yeah, but it's hard to tell.
Yeah, so it's easier just to ask the question,
Yeah.
so.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Well, on the last one, then, you're saying the arch part is clear glass with no divided, but you're saying you're going to take the divisions all the way up? Because that's what's showing here.
Right. Yeah, there's showing no mutton pattern in the
Right.
arch.
That's,
Yeah, I think, okay.
what's that?
That's a mistake. The divided lights should continue up
Should
through the
continue.
transom.
Okay.
Yes,
Which would probably be in more keeping with what
exactly.
If it was
think it
even,
would
if it was a sunburst pattern, or,
Yeah, sunburst, and sometimes those were actually awning or pivot.
yeah, I'm not too worried.
But I don't think that, as far as the board's discussion of it, I don't think it matters whether it's an operable or non-operable.
Correct, that's what I said, I was just looking at the aesthetic of it.
Okay. Any other questions for clarification? Okay. May I have a motion on this application?
I'll second that.
Any discussion, modifications to the motion?
Do we know the windows, what they're being replaced with? Was that discussed?
It was
Marvin.
Marvin Essential, and that's wood,
It's a fiberglass.
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 It was in the packet.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure
Okay.
we're.
Yeah.
clear on that, okay.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposition? Abstentions? Motion passes. Thank you
Thank you very much.
Great project. Really super project. Okay. Kate? The next one is still on hold?
Oh, yes, yeah. I have not heard yet from the applicants. My understanding is that they are working with the contractor, local contractor on the windows, so.
And you're going to send, at least I'm requesting.
Yeah, anyone who's interested in that,
the
in that
contractor
contact, I'd be
who
happy to
is
send
restoring the
that.
windows.
Yep. And I have no new business, and unless there are other discussion points.
Yeah, unless there are other discussion points, I am asking for a motion to adjourn. All motion to adjourn. All
I'll second it.
in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.